This time I want to show you how I go about taking a lamination in preparation for making a bowl and trim the edges or cut the edges at the proper angle for the next step. Now here's a piece that's been cut, here's a piece that's been trimmed, and the piece we're going to talk about today is this one here. It's been laminated, and now I have to cut the 22.5 degrees because I'm going to make an 8-segment bowl on the sides. The issue becomes, of course, this overlap that you can see here, this rough part that sticks out. I can't really put that up against my rip fence. It'll be discontinuous as I slide it along, and it'll give me an improper cut. So the problem is how to make that cut on the table saw. You can, I suppose, if you wanted to, try to joint that edge on a joiner, but it's going to be trouble. It's going to be hard to really get, until you get it worn down, it's going to be hard to get a truly flat surface that then you can use up against your rip fence. And I don't like to bother because that will only give you a straight edge. In this method, I could get the 22.5 degrees and the cut or cleanup done at one go. What you have to do is build something like this, just a little stick that is ripped on the table saw, so I know that both sides are parallel, and I'll just stick that on here with some double-step carpet tape that will provide a nice straight surface for me to run up against the rip fence. Now you can see I'm putting it on the one board here and not this one. When I glued this, it was in this orientation, and the glue dripped down on the lower pieces of wood. Well, obviously the top piece is not going to have any glue on it, and that's a nice straight surface to begin with. So let's put this down here. I will pull these off to expose the tape. I use carpet tape, and as you see this progress, you'll see that if I wanted to, I could simply glue this on and just cut it off when I trim the other surface. But I'll probably want to reuse this stick, so I'm not going to do that. Another thing I wanted to show you is this board is very long, and this stick is not as long. If you're going to use a stick that runs the whole length, that's just fine. This one here is short, but you can still use it. I'm putting it back so that it's closer to the back, the last part of the cut when I shove it through. Let me widen you out a little bit here, and you'll see a little better what I'm doing here. So I'm going to stick this on and push it down in place, and it just has to stay there, so you don't have to worry about it being absolutely perfectly secure, but it does have to stay in place. Now when I put this down and run my rip fence, I can run this up here. You can see I'm on that piece of wood, which is not this far out, but I do want to make sure that that piece of wood runs to the back side so that when I'm running down this part of the cut, I'm still up against the fence. I don't want it potentially tipping in on me when I'm pushing it through. Now I'm going to make this cut. To line it up, I want to make sure I get a full cut, so I'll line the bottom of the blade to make sure I'm still going to be taking wood off when I'm making that cut down there. So that's good. Whoop, fence moved, of course. So now I'm in position, and I can make the cut. I've made sure that my blade is up high enough to clear the wood. You'll often make that mistake if you're like me, but now I've learned. This piece of wood actually has a little tipness to it. You got to make sure there's no debris under it. Sometimes that can mess you up. But I think we'll still be okay once we make our cut. Let me go turn the dust collector on. edge. Now, like I was saying, if you wanted to, you could just leave that piece of wood on and make your next cut, and it'll simply be cut off. Or you can click it off like that, and you can reuse this. And now I can make my second cut. I have to adjust the rip fence, of course. Make sure I'm going to get the cut I'm looking for. And now we're ready to make the next cut. Got that rough part cleaned off and the angles cut all in one go, and now I can simply chop off the lengths that I want, eight equal size height pieces if I want, and they'll become the size of the bowl. You'll just stack them up like this. So let me show you. This is kind of a construction you can do with an 8-segment bowl, or same kind of layout, but I just made half of it segmented and half of it solid. I've started that new design, and it's kind of fun to play with, and it'll give you a striking effect too. This and this larger bowl were both made using a similar technique like this to start with, to get the laminations ready for cutting. Just wanted to show you how to handle when you have a rough edge like this, how to run it on your rib fence very easily by making that little spacer block. Thanks for watching.